Yes, once again, welcome to Dallas Cowboys headquarters. The Cowboys entered Week 14 of the National Football League season with the confidence after beating both participants from the 2024 Super Bowl within only 5 days. Their offense was explosive, their defense was getting better, and their entire team felt they were finally becoming one of the strongest contenders in the league. However, they now had to travel to Detroit, where the Lions waited inside their loud and unforgiving home stadium. The last time these two teams faced one another, Detroit completely dominated the Cowboys by a score of 47-9. In that game, the Lions used trick plays in which their quarterback threw passes to offensive linemen even after the result was already secured. The Dallas simply could not find a way to slow them down. But things were very different now. The Cowboys had won 3 consecutive games. Their offense ranked near the top of the league with powerful rushing, creative passing, and steady late-game executions. Their defense also transformed after the trade for the defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, who immediately added strength, energy, and leadership. Meanwhile, the Lions did not look like an unstoppable group they were the year before. Without offensive coordinator Ben Johnson calling plays, the system lost rhythm. Injury made it worse, especially losing tighter end Sam Leparta and wide receiver Amon El Esther, blown 2 of their best weapons. Even with their issues, Detroit still had dangerous playmakers such as wide receiver Jameson Williams and running back Jameer Gibbs, and they always played through inside their home stadium. But the Cowboys reviewed their victory over the Kansas City Chiefs and realized there were several areas that still need improvement, even though they escaped with the narrow 3-point win. Weaknesses were exposed. If Dallas wanted to beat the Lions, they could not afford to ignore these problems. The coaching staff identified 3 major issues: starting field position for the offense, red zone defense, and run defense. Fixing these areas was essential before stepping into Detroit turf. The first issue was starting field position. In their game against Kansas City Chiefs, the Cowboys began most of their offensive drives deep inside their own territory. On average, they started around 17 points 8-yard line. 6 different drives began inside the 20-yard lines. 2 of those drives began even inside of the 5-yard line, and 1 began at the 10. This created heavy challenge because long drives require perfect execution, discipline, and patience. On the other hand, the Chiefs averaged starting of the 35-yard line and never opened a drive inside their own 20. The type of the field position gives an enormous advantage because offenses can use more parts of their playbook and feel more comfortable taking risks. The Cowboys managed to push through these disadvantages and still score enough to win, but doing that every week is nearly impossible. Long fields demands too much from an offense, especially late in the season when fatigue breeds up. For the Dallas to perform well against Detroit, they needed better special teams, returns, smart decisions on kickoffs, and strong blocking on the punt returns. Improving field position would allow these offenses to start faster and avoid unnecessary pressure. The second major issue was red zone defense. Even though the Cowboys' defense had improved in almost every other area since Quinnen Williams arrived, the red zone remained their weakness point. The Philadelphia Eagles reached the zone 3 times and scored touchdowns on all 3 trips. Only 4 days later, the Kansas City Chiefs also reached the zone 3 times and scored touchdown every time. Allowing 6 touchdowns in 6 attempts is extremely dangerous, especially for the team hoping to make a playoffs run. Red zone defense is often the difference between winning and losing games. It requires discipline, strong communication, and tight coverage because the field becomes shorter and the passing windows shrinks. Every missed tackle or blown assignment becomes more costly near to the goal line. The Cowboys needs to treat red zone defense as priority. Improving that area could turn touchdowns into field goals, and those small differences often decide the outcome of the tough road games. The third issue was run defense. In the 2 weeks before playing the Chiefs, the Cowboys did not experience job stopping powerful running back Ashton Genty and Shaquan Barkley, but the Kansas City Chiefs, their run defense appeared less confident. They might have been too focused on preventing Patrick Mahomes from throwing deep passes, which opened space for the Chiefs' running game. 4 different Kansas City players averaged more than 4 yards per carry. The Chiefs' running backs alone gained 4.3 yards per attempt, not including Patrick Mahomes scrambling for the 30 yards on the 3 runs. The Lions relied heavily on running back Jahmyr Gibbs, who was explosive, fast, and extremely difficult to tackle in open space. If the Cowboys could not control the line of the scrimmage, Gibbs could become the deciding factor in the game. Improving run defense required filling gaps more constantly, shedding blocks fast, and securing tackles with 2 or 3 defenders instead of relying on one person. As the Cowboys traveled to Detroit, they understand the importance of collecting these weaknesses. Field position would help their offense stay balanced. Better red zone defense would protect them from giving up easy points. Strong run defense would remove Detroit's most dangerous weapons. The team studied film, practiced situational drills, and communicated more clearly during the preparations. Players knew the challenge ahead was serious, but believed they were steady and ready. The shutdown in Detroit would not just be another regular season game. It was a chance for the Cowboys to improve, that their improvements were not temporary. That winning streak means something, and that we were ready to compete at the highest level. To leave Detroit with a victory, they had to execute, stay disciplined, play with the same confidence they had shown in recent weeks. Their path to success depends on learning from their mistakes and refusing to repeat them when facing the teams. Entering week 14 of the 2025 National Football League is not just about wins or losses. It is a story of the survival, recovery, unexpected breakthrough, and the slow but steady rise of the team that has transformed its identity. For weeks, the Cowboys have fought injuries, personal changes, and pressure from every direction. But the December arrives, Dallas begins to feel something it has not truly felt in the years: momentum, confidence, and believes that something special is forming inside of the locker room. As the Cowboys prepare for their Thursday night matchup against the Detroit Lions, the biggest headline does not revolve around the opponents. Instead, it centers on the cornerback Trevon Diggs, whose return from the injured reserve list has been anticipated for more than a month. On Sunday morning, Dallas officially opened Diggs' 21-day practice window, signaling that his return is no longer a question of if, but a question of time. For the Dallas, Diggs is more than a start. He is a defensive playmaker who changes how coordinators draw up their games plans. His ability to track the football, match right receivers step by step, and create turnovers brings the entirely different energy to the secondary. Even though he has played only 19 games since signing $97 million extension, the Cowboys still view him as a long-term successor of the Yes, once again, welcome to Dallas Cowboys headquarters. Today, we brings you a hot news about the Dallas Cowboys as the Cowboys prepare for their Thursday night matchup against the Detroit Lions. The biggest headline does not revolve around the opponents. Instead, it centers on the cornerback Trevon Diggs, whose return from the injured reserve list has been anticipated for more than a month. On the Sunday morning, Dallas officially opened the Diggs 21 days practice window, signalizing that his return is no longer a question of if, but a question of when. For the Dallas, Diggs is more than a starter. He is a defensive playmaker who changes how coordinators draw up their game plans. His ability to track the football, match a right receiver step for steps, and create turnovers brings entirely different energy to the secondary. Even though he has played only 19 games since signing $97 million extension, the Cowboys still view him as a long-term successor. This season, the secondary has been tested in a way no one expected. Kylen Carlson has battled a difficult hamstring injury. Dallon Bland briefly exited the Chiefs game with foot issue. Lucky Shavon Levels unexpected thrust into a major role, played 100% of the snaps last week in only his third career appearance. The Cowboys have survived the turbulence, but returning Diggs would strengthen their depth chart dramatically as playoffs pressure increase. While Dallas celebrates good news in the defensive backfield, the offensive line faces a more frustrating reality. Tyler Guyton, the starting left tackles and one of the team's most important young pieces, is not expected to suit up against the Lions. His high ankle sprain suffered in a week. 12 continues to limit him, and the coaching staff does not believe the short break after the Thanksgiving victory over Kansas City will be enough. This season has not been easy for the Guyton. He missed a lot of training camp and preseason with a bone fracture in his right knee. Now, a second major injury has slowed him again. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer has publicly admitted that the situation does not looking promising. Yet, in the middle of the disappointment, a silver lining has begun to shine. Nate Thomas, who stepped in against Kansas City, impressed both coaches and the fans with his composure and physicality. The young tackle has appeared in 12 games this season and started twice, showing steady improvement and reliable techniques. His emergence softens the blow as Guyton continues to heal. The Lions enter Thursday night with their own issues. The most significant involves the wide receiver Amon Elset Brown, who left the Thanksgiving game against the Green Bay Packers with the ankle injury. Early reports suggest he could be lost for the season, but later evaluation showed the damage was not that severe. Still, head coach Dan Campbell described his return as week to week, making it highly unlikely that he will face the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit offensive line situation is also fragile. 2 starters were out of the against Green Bay, while the remaining 3 appeared on the injury report. The team hoped retired center Frank Legno could return to stabilize the unit, but failed physically ended that possibility. With the weakened offensive line and limited receiving depth, the Lions face major pressure entering this matchup. As national analysts watching Dallas plays, many agree that the team has not only changed but improved dramatically. Former New England Patriot wide receiver Julian Edelman, speaking on national television, explained why he highlighted three defensive players in particular: DeMarvin Overshown, Logan Wilson, and Quinnen Williams. Overshown sideline speed has become one of the most visible strengths on the team. His instincts allow him to chase ball carries on open space and disrupt the rhythm of the opposing offenses. Logan Wilson, a mid-season addition, has carved out the versatility role that blends pass coverage, prioritizing the interior line support. And then there is Quinnen Williams, one of the most impactful moves the Cowboys made this season. His dominance inside has transformed the entire unit, forcing offenses to double team him and opening opportunities for edge rushers. Edelman compared the team upward momentum to the New York Giants squads that absent him in 2 Super Bowls. He noted that Dallas looks like a team getting hot at the right time, breeding confidence and identity as a postseason approach. On the offensive side of the ball, quarterback Dak Prescott is quietly breeding a legacy that deserves more attention. Analysts are beginning to notice that his statistical efficiency mirrors that a Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young. While Young became a legend through accurate decision-making and carefree command of the offense, Prescott is now showing many of the same traits. The numbers speak clearly. Young finished his career with a passer rating of the 97.8. Prescott currently holds a rating of the 98.6. Prescott has already supplied Young in passing yards and touchdowns at the 10-year mark, while maintaining fewer interceptions. The similarities are striking. They are reinforce the idea that Prescott's best work may still be ahead. His connection with wide receiver CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens has also become one of the most dangerous combinations in the league. CeeDee Lamb's precision and Pickens' physicality force defense to choose between doubling speed or doubling strength. Either option leaves someone uncovered. Entering to the Week 14, the Cowboys carry a 3-game winning streak, including a dramatic and emotional Thanksgiving win over the Kansas City Chiefs. The victory felt different. It felt like a turning point, a moment when players realized their sailing was higher than they imagined. The coaching staff believes in the team growth, the veteran feel it, the young players feel it, and then even the analysts who spent years